the application of big data has penetrated into various scenarios in life. Today, when the COVID-19 broke out, various technologies related to big data have provided extensive support in combating the epidemic and won a lot of time. Next, our group will introduce the role of big data technology in epidemic prevention and control. The first part is the tracking of epidemic spread supported by big data. Tracking mobile tracks and establishing relationship maps are not news today when big data technology is become more and more mature. In terms of location data, in addition to the travel data collected by aviation, railway, highway, and other transportation departments on the premise of users' authorization, mobile phone operators can effectively locate users' mobile phone location based on mobile phone information, and the Internet enterprise can also call users' mobile phone location data through application authorization. The relationship map can be built through various social platforms, communication networks, call records, transfer records, and other data. Connecting the authorized location data in different time pyramids longitudinally can effectively draw the moving track of a mobile phone holder. This kind of individual data can be used to track the disease transmission path of the infected person and locate the source of infection. The cooperation relationship map can better locate the population that the infected person has contacted, so as to take timely treatment and other prevention and control measures to avoid wider spread of the epidemic, to provide effective tools for prevention and control of possible infectious events during the return peak of Spring Festival of Transportation. When the individual data are collected to form group data, the direction, dynamic, and scale of personnel inflow and outflow in important epidemic areas can be clearly displayed, and the population inflow and outflow conditions of cities can be observed, especially the population outflow direction in key epidemic areas. These data are helpful to locate the main area of epidemic output, predict the development trend of regional epidemic, and predict the potential infected population in the region. In addition, the horizontal integration of the location data of the different individuals of the same time point can also clearly show the people who have been to high-risk areas and at a specific time point, and monitor the population density and trend accordingly.
The second part is the dissemination of epidemic information by big data technology. With the help of mobile, internet, and smartphones, people can obtain the latest epidemic dynamics, scientific epidemic prevention knowledge, and other data anytime and anywhere. Local governments regularly release the latest epidemic trends through e-government platforms and all kinds of news clients. Social platforms and search engines also actively cooperate with the release and the dissemination of epidemic-related information. In addition, many platforms have launched online consultation service to facilitate netizens to consult doctors about the prevention and treatment of COVID-19, effectively alleviating the difficulties of medical treatment caused by the storage of medical resources during the epidemic, and avoiding the influx of people with common disease to hospitals and the formation of aggregated cross-infection. Among them, search engines also provide better space and the possibility to solve rumors. Search often matches the price's needs. Enter a keyword in the search box to get the latest information you want. If we want to understand the public needs, it's undoubtedly the most efficient. Analyze rumors with the help of big data, information mining, and other technologies, and then answer them with authority through official data to crush rumors. Finally, it forms a closed-loop process from the emergence, dissemination, and refutation of rumors, which objectively plays a popular science function of helping the public answer questions and dispel doubts, so as to eliminate the harm of rumors. Secondly, the authority and the timelines of search engines cannot be replaced. Research shows that the number of infectious disease will be reduced by 30% when the amount of media coverage increases tenfold. Therefore, it's undoubtedly beneficial for the government to prevent and control the epidemic by allowing the public to obtain fully authoritative information in the early stage of the epidemic, so as to strengthen self-protection and reduce travel and gatherings. The third part constructs the epidemic development model with big data technology. In the face of the continuous growth of the number of confirmed cases of novel coronavirus, the public pay close attention to the spread of the epidemic situation. How long will the epidemic spread? Will the number of infected people increase significantly? Where is the high risk of infection? When can we enter the safety period? To solve these problems, we need to find out the key influencing factors, analyze the transmission characteristic of the epidemic, and build an epidemic development model, in which big data can play a key role. The first is to optimize data collection. Before the wide application of big data technology, medical data collection has obvious lag, which restricts the rapid acquisition of transmission data and analysis of epidemic transmission mechanism in the early stage of epidemic transmission. With the help of medical data networking and data collection channels of various intelligent devices, the epidemic transmission data collection in the era of big data is more timely and accurate, which can be located to individuals and a specific block, so as to provide a big data basis of the construction of epidemic development model. The second is to enrich the data dimension. In addition to medical data, epidemic spread often involves multi-dimensional factors such as climate, temperature and humidity, geology, transportation, social behavior, and urban health. The development of big data technology makes these influencing factors display in data form. At the same time, it makes multi-dimensional and large-scale data processing possible, and tens of thousands of influencing factor modeling can be released, which greatly enriches the analysis dimension of epidemic development model. Plays an important role in locating the key influencing factors of epidemic spread and putting forward targeted prevention and control suggestions. Finally, the model optimization training. The massive database provides rich optimization and training materials for the epidemic development model. The continuous iteration of the model is of great significance to optimize the model parameters and improve the prediction accuracy of the model.
The fourth part is the meaning of public option by big data. First, the analysis reflects public option. The people collect and search for each piece of information reveals the people's needs and problems. Search for big data has become an important career to understand public option under the academic. In the initial stage of the outbreak, the number of searchers for masks and alcohol increased, while the number of searchers for physiological counseling and cross-sort in the economic area increased 74 times. At the same time, physiological counseling has become a hot spot of search, which also suggests that relevant experts and scholars need to answer questions and solve doubles for the people in time. With the improvement of the academic prevention and control situation, corroboration related content search is more popular than mask, reflecting that people can't wait to go out of their house and ambience spring. The second is explore and grasp the sort of public option and the cases of events, and actually perceive the change of emotional tendency and dynamic evolution of topics of internet users by relying on text means such as emotional analysis and topical cross-studying. At the beginning of the academic, public option was dominated by negative emotions. As the growth rate of the academic continues to slow down and the positive emotion continues to improve. At the time, the emotion index is still changing, mostly related to the hot topics targeted by the academic. The third is to actually locate the crowd and perceive the personalist damages. Users are subdivided into different groups according to their occupation, ranking, and other activities, and the dynamic comparison of public participation is carried out. At the same time, the network speech of representativity groups is analyzed at a fixed point to accurately previous the physiological dimensions and value experience of different social groups. Most of the medical care groups focusing on the front line have convened the indomitable spirit of fighting.
The fifth part is the scheduling of epidemic prevention resources by big data. During the epidemic prevention and control period, whether the allocation of medical materials is accurate and efficient is the key factor affecting the progress of epidemic prevention and control. At present, the main application of big data in medical resource allocation are supply-demand docking and big data intelligent supply chain management. The traditional material allocation method needs to go through multiple links such as demand submission, summary, material allocation and transportation, concentration, warehouse division, and derivation, which inevitably lead to the problems of unreasonable allocation and the transportation and mismatch between supply and demand. Through the big data platform, firstly, it can realize the accurate connection between the supply and the demand side, and secondly, it can greatly improve the timeliness of material transportation and reduce errors, omissions, and losses in the transportation process. At present, the big data platform launched in many places can provide material supply and demand docking services, which can enable epidemic prevention and control departments, hospital, and other departments in need of medical materials to successfully fight sellers and enable enterprise with medical material supply capacity to quickly find buyers. At present, in commons, big data intelligent supply chain management has also played a significant role in the deployment and transportation of epidemic prevention materials, but this is not enough, especially for mega city and even the national emergency materials deployment management system. There are still some work to be continued. The first is to summarize and centralize the material demand during the emergency period, especially in the case of serious epidemic and material shortage. This is particularly important in an ideal big data material management system. The determination of requirements should be iterative, timely, according to the degree of urgency, and should be dynamically updated. These requirements should be directly allocated to the docking production line in the big data platform. The second is the intelligent supply chain system during the emergency period. This service is developed repeatedly on the current in-commerce logistics side, and the focus in the future will be the resource integration led by the government and the establishment and the improvement of cooperation mechanism. The ultimate goal is to achieve more timely and accurate material transportation and transport the most urgent materials to the places where they are most needed at the fastest speed.
The sixth part is the support of big data for reception of work and production. According to the epidemic prevention and control situation, coordinate the reception of work and production of various types of enterprises in the region according to different requirements and times, improve the monitoring of health information of those who return to work, and dynamically grasp the epidemic prevention situation of enterprise
production, and employees. These are inseparable from the support of big data technology. Big data technology serves enterprises to resume work and production in many ways. The first is screening and health monitoring of returnees. The second is the classification approval, which encourages the rapid resumption of work and expansion of production capacity for those enterprises that produce medical protective equipment and realize online approval and filing for other industrial enterprises that have successfully applied for resumption of work. The third is remote service, which can realize equipment networking and intelligent control so that enterprise management and operators can monitor data, track equipment, predict failures at any time at the remote end, and control equipment and manage energy, which greatly reduce the possibility of personnel contact and gathering, whether it is employee health monitoring, contactless work, remote operation, or basic resource protection. Big data helps enterprises resume work and production, which not only reflects the characteristics of the emergency management period, but also reflects the characteristics of daily operation and management. The epidemic is more like an opportunity or trigger point for big data service enterprises to resume work and production, which gives us two enlightenments. First, for economic production activities, the use of new technologies and the mobilization of new sources are important aspects of their response to the impact of external risks, and the operation and management methods of enterprises will take this as an opportunity to excel. Second, for the interaction between government and enterprises, the government as the manager and service provider of economic production activities due to the use of big data technology, its means of performing its functions will be richer, faster, and more effective.
The seventh part of big data promotes the treatment and research of novel coronavirus. In the process of fighting the epidemic, big data has been fully applied to the sciences directly related to medical work, such as disease dialogues, medical research, medical assistance, and so on. The research results published by the media show that nearly 17% of them are used in medical treatment efficiency. In the case of limited medical resource and more patients, hierarchical diagnosis and treatment using big data technologies can allocate medical resources more efficiently. Community hospitals, health stations, and hospitals at all levels shall establish electronic archives for patients when receiving patients with epidemic disease. Medical and health institutions cluster patients through the big data intelligent analysis system so as to divide the groups of critical patients, serial patients, and mid patients, and give priority to the allocation of limited medical resource to critical patients to see and survive patients. This can maximize the efficiency of dialogues and treatment. It can be determined that compared with the traditional decentralized manual registration, the use of undefined big data hierarchical dialogues and treatment platform will improve the efficiency of hierarchical dialogues and treatment, especially from the perspective of scientific research. Big data technology is emerging in variance structure analysis and vacation research and development. The use of big data technology can effectively enucleate the data analysis and calculations of level cover variance, host prediction, and drug screening, and greatly improve the efficiency of variance research and attack.